because it's really hard in today's world to expect your kids to just listen to what just you say. We need people rallying behind us, having our back, and telling our kids, your family's on track with this. You guys are in the right position. This is where you want to grow. This is where you want to be. Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jackie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world. Okay, episode 14. So,
jumping right into this, huh?
I want to address this last thing that you brought up about the tension points. Because here now we had decided that, okay, I told Colin after I talked to you, okay, we're going to come to Boise. I said, we're keeping our Florida home, but we're coming to Boise and selling our Wisconsin home. And he was like, really? He's like, wow, okay, let's do this. Something big's happening out here in Boise. And so we decided to go ahead and make that move. But you're right. I mean, it was challenging because even after the move.
Well, one thing, we had never been to Boise in our entire life.
Correct.
Either one of us.
Literally looked on a map and was like, don't even know where it's at.
Right. So we said yes to the call without knowing, what we're getting ourselves into as far as climate, location, all that kind of stuff.
Not even knowing what the expectations. We still don't really.
We still don't know.
We're like, we don't know. Are we going to be doing something with the church? Are we just going to be going to church out here? Are we just moving to the town because Colin invited us, but we like being around that association? Still don't really know. We just know.
But we're here.
We just knew that this sounds like what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so there's some faith involved there for sure. But, the tension point for me, the main one was the more I would think about it, the hard part was with your parents. Your parents live down the street. Our kids, we're all very close because of that. Every kind of family meal or any kind of celebration or, I'll be playing basketball outside with Jerusalem, Nana or Rebecca drive by and they pull in and they say hi to the kids. And sometimes we just walk down there or ride our bikes down there, really cool family setup. And as you know, for me, I don't have a close family and haven't. It's always been a pretty dysfunctional. Your parents are the first family that I've ever had. And so it's probably harder for me thinking about moving away from them than it was for you. You grew up in a house with a lot of security where it's no matter where we live, we always are going to be together. We're always going to spend time together. We're always going to, and they've always proven that for you. For me, I haven't had that. So that was really challenging.
I know. I'm believing they're going to get a house down here.
Yeah. That's part of the plan, I think, for the future for sure. So there was that. The other part is, really, this is a pretty big decision, because for those that are listening, Jackie and I, we have felt literally since we've had kids that our family is supposed to stay together. Meaning that God has given us all talents and giftings and, different personality types, different ways of thinking, different skills, different anointings that are all developing in our children. But we think they're all coming together for our family to do big things together. And we just really strongly believe that our family isn't going to be the ones that, hey, you can't wait till you get out of the house at 18 and, go take care of yourself now. We feel like there's a ongoing process of mentorship and development. And again, bringing all of our kids into everything that God puts in our life. And then we can keep amplifying and doing it bigger, even beyond them to the next generation. So for us, we're really trying to grow roots.
Yeah, we definitely want our kids to feel secure, knowing that we want to do life together until, Jesus comes back. We want to enjoy all things together. That doesn't mean we don't allow them or don't want them to go out there and enjoy life. But I'm going to invite myself along with it because I want, to be a part of things with our kids, and our kids love being a part of things with us. And because of that, I think there's a lot of security in it. Our kids always know that no matter what we're talking about, we're all going to do it together. Even when they find their significant other that God has handpicked for them, that person also will want to join in this crazy, life that we're doing together, because we just so know that we're strong and smart and, just so excited about what God has in store for each of us. And we don't want to allow anybody to get off track. This world is crazy. I can go into so many examples, but it's beyond crazy right now. And the people you choose to allow your children to hang out with influences them not only for the current season, but future seasons of their life. And I'm not really willing to let a lot of people impact our kids in ways that are not going to glorify Jesus. And I know our tribe impacts each other the best. Yeah. And that comes from you and I, obviously, keeping ourselves on track at all times, which really led to the whole point of moving into a community that would be accountable with us about what we're putting in our minds and who we're hanging out with and what we're doing. So our kids know that we're tied into good people.
Right.
So they can always tie into us. Because it's really hard in today's world to expect your kids to just listen to what just you say. We need people rallying behind us, having our back, and telling our kids, your family's on track with this. You guys are in the right position. This is where you want to grow. This is where you want to be.
Yeah, and like I told you, I think it might have been last night, that our kids have watched us since the time they were babies, leading others. They have been there while people are sitting at our feet, learning from us and us helping and serving others. But our kids have not really experienced us being under leadership.
That's true.
We're directly being mentored, and that was just the season we were in. And there's so much power in that. It's kind of like when I watch Colin, as strong of a leader as he is and all the responsibility he holds, he was fully submitted to another leader in his life, and he's also accountable to a lot of other men that are great godly men. And there's so much strength and power in that. And one, it keeps you on track. Number two, it keeps aiming your giftings in the right direction for the right reasons. Three, it keeps you humble, keeps you grounded. And you have people that constantly are there. It's covering in your life, and also challenging you in your life in a positive way. And I'm excited about being in that position now.
Yeah, and healthy people. Again, it goes back to they're healthy people. Right. There's a lot of people out there willing to give you advice, coach you, quote unquote, mentor you. But my gosh, if they're not in a healthy position, and I don't mean perfect, nobody's asking for perfection, but we are asking for a healthy place in all areas of your life.
Yeah.
And if you're not there, you can't really help other people be healthy. You need to go get healthy. And then once you are, you can start stepping into that again.
And, as leaders, we all need a place to be vulnerable. We need
Absolutely.
a place to be real, but you can only be vulnerable with healthy people, like you're saying, because if you're vulnerable with people that aren't healthy, it is the formula for manipulation.
100%.
And we've experienced that in our life. And,
unfortunately,
many other people have as well, I'm sure. But again, here we are. We're learning and growing and changing. We're figuring it out. And, but yeah, that was a big thing that was kind of like, whoa, okay.
So we really had to think it over. You and I had a lot of conversations back and forth, not only with each other, but other people. Again, it was really great to be able to chat with like a Colin. I remember, a handful of times getting on a call with him and being like, hey, so these are some of the things we're working through right now. And him just reminding us of what the big picture was, or jumping on the phone with a couple other great people that we trust with some of our feelings and our fears.
Yeah, like Brad.
Yeah, and discussing that, with others that we trust. And I think, Roy was a great, friend during this time to help us with so much. And just even really, again, taking it to the Lord and both of us hearing. And then from there, once we kind of felt really at peace with it, it was time to come out and explore, and start looking for a home. And so with that coming, we started talking to our tribe about it. We didn't want to do this journey without them feeling like they were part of it every step of the way. As parents, we know we have to make the ultimate decision. We know that we have to be the adults. We know that we have to decide and then from there lead. But we also know, our children are now 14 and, 13 and they're not just babies where you can say, hey, time to get in the car, let's go. And there's no questions. Yeah. They have questions. They have concerns. They want to know how things are going to work. And they were, there were a lot of discussions. And so we presented it to the kids. And of course, their first look in their eyes were, I would say, about 50% excitement and 50% fear.
Yeah.
They trust us so much. We've proven to be trustworthy to our children, and we continue to be. So they trusted us with the excitement of knowing we've talked so much about the community out here and really the community in San Diego and what they were going to bring to Boise and how we really believed in the mission. So they were excited about that. They had studied enough of the church to understand that it's such an impactful community. And so they trusted that. But they were going to leave everything they knew. My parents are such an impactful players in their lives and continue to be, but that is home to them. My parents, our lake home was home. It was, they kind of remember our first home, but this home was their home.
Yeah.
And they were going to be leaving that. And they were going to be leaving, just the memories.
Yeah.
And not knowing what the new memories were going to be. And that is real fear. And I think, when you break it down in a younger person's mind, some of the questions in our young kids, like young kids, were like, can I still bring this stuffed animal? And can I still, bring my bike? And of course, those answers are easy to give. Of course you can, honey. Bring it all, right? But man, I had so many conversations with our older girls. I had our older three are just such thinkers and lovers and believers. And, there were some really hard conversations that, as parents, you don't expect to have all the time, right? You think we would have our team meetings, right? And we thought we answered every question, like on Thursday night when we had our team meeting. But then come Friday morning, one of the girls are coming to me crying, realizing they have more questions and they have more concerns. And to slow down and not just,
So real quick, so when one of our girls comes to you, well, first of all, we're going to go in detail at one point about personalities.
Yeah, that's
because it's really important to have an understanding of personalities, tendencies, how each personality type kind of handles, stress and different things. And, we've really spent a lot of time making sure we get to know the kids and how they do that. Like Abby is going to come to us because she's like that. Like she'll get emotional and then she's going to be like, I want to talk, like she'll be really open. You take like a Bella and she'll kind of stew on it more and she just kind of gets more quiet. And you almost have to pull it out of her. But once you do, then she really opens up. And so anyway, how do you take the time, energy, maybe you can just describe a little bit about how you get our children to come to you, in particular the girls, how you get the girls to come to you with this kind of stuff, with any kind of emotional stuff.
Yeah, I think it's like one of those things, like I think, all of us moms, we have this idea of what it's going to be like to be a mom to our children and that we're going to have the answers and we're going to handle it perfectly. I'd like to think I do it all the time, but I surely don't. And I try to learn as quickly as I can. If you ask my children, they thank me on a regular for really understanding them. And I think that's one of the best compliments I can ever get because I really want to try to understand and get our children. And so, the different ways I study our kids are definitely the personalities and what their needs are. In different situations, need my attention sooner than others. So when things like this, like a major change in life, that needs my attention as quickly as I can give it to it. But other things, it's, if they're arguing with their sister or they're angry because, they didn't get their way in a situation, I'll nicely say to them, hey, I want to hit this up with you, but right now I'm in the middle of something. Can we do that later tonight? But when they would come to me in the mornings or towards the evenings, a lot of times with concerns about us moving or questions, the girls will tell you, I will take their hand and I walk into their room with them and I will sit next to them and I will put my arm around them and they will, put their hand on my hand and I will slow down and say, hey, let's talk about this. Tell me what you're really feeling or what's really going on or why are you behaving anger right now when I know that's not you? And normally the girls will start tearing up and they'll say, I'm really nervous, Mom. Like I don't feel comfortable that we're leaving Anna and Baca. Or I'm really scared that I won't know anybody. Or what if I don't fit in? Or what if we don't like the neighborhood?
Yeah.
Or what if, all of us don't get to have our, quality time together the same way? Those are real concerns for those kids. You know what I mean? And that gives me an opportunity to pour into them and remind them again that we are always going to be together, that God's got us. And it might not look the same, but it might look better. And it might be new and different. And let's look up how we can go do some new things out there so we don't just miss the old things. Let's look at what the future brings. And, I'd like to say after those conversations, we don't have them again. But of course,
Sure.
They come up and they keep coming up. But every kid does do it differently. And I think that's the biggest thing is I'm not just going to sit there and let a kid deal with it on their own when I know as a parent, that's our job to help them process things. Mm-hmm. Like that is our job. We are there to help them process things and not just tell them too bad. This is what we decided. You said you were excited about it yesterday. What happened today?
Yeah. And we've had to do a little try, fail, adjust on this.
100%.
Because, the kids keep maturing. And so they act differently at different ages. And, Chrissy tends to get a little bit uptight when she's typically like a pretty free spirit.
When things are kind of getting on her.
Yeah. And you can see it. Like you can see the tension building on her face. And she needs a release to be able to talk things through.
And a lot of times
she's a thinker.
Right. And sometimes that's one-on-one. And sometimes it's just like in a group setting enough where she feels like she can express herself so other people don't, judge her for her feelings.
Right.
Yeah. Drew's is so physical touch. If he's nervous about something or stressing about something, a lot of times he wants more physical touch than normal.
He starts getting a little ornery. You know what I mean? Like he starts kind of like pushing boundaries more and, kind of mess with his sisters in an unhealthy way more. And I don't know. It's like his way of acting out without even really realizing he's doing it, I think. But it's kind of like what happens to him when he gets stressed out. And usually it's a matter of a little more physical touch, a little bit more one-on-one time, hearing him out a little bit, giving him some words of affirmation, because
give him a little space to go be a boy.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes when new situations are happening, there's so much going on in our life that we almost have the kids helping so much, whether it's packing or whether it's planning things or finishing up school quickly, and he doesn't just get to go climb a tree and, do booby traps out there or something. You know what I mean? Like if he can't do that, that kid's hurting. Uh-huh. And then we have sweet Eliana, who a lot of times takes a little bit longer to process things. Yeah. She's definitely our one that is quality time. So she'll ask to go do a lot of things. And if she doesn't get that chance to process it herself, she starts, almost pushing back. She's not as connected. She's kind of in her own island because she's trying to figure out her own thing. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we have Hunter, who pretty much speaks up about whatever she needs at this point. She's
like, wait, where are we going? Yeah. Can we stay at a hotel?
Yeah. She's our 4-year-old with a lot of adventure in her, and
she loves it.
And she has a lot of fun. So, yeah, it is. I mean, like, bringing it to the kids was a lot of really emotional.
Ups and downs, and you handled it like a champ for sure, just by making sure you take the time. Like, you never pushed it off. No. If there's advice we can give to parents out there, it's like don't just because you don't know fully what to do, don't just do nothing. You know what I mean? Like just try to listen.
Well, and say that. I would tell the kids, I'd be like, I don't really know what to tell you right now that will help you in this situation, but I will tell you there's good things coming.
Yeah. And it also, I think it always helps. You and I are pretty open with them in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Where we let them know we're nervous too.
Absolutely.
But we also realize that as long as we're all going together, we're gonna really create the best out of this. And we don't know everything that's going to happen. And we have the same kind of fears you guys have, but we're just choosing to focus on, that God's moving us somewhere and that something great's going to come out of it. And it won't be perfect, but it's going to be great. The part about it's going to be awesome. It's our adventure together. And we just try to stay focused on that. But I notice the more that we make time to also express some of our feelings to them, then they feel like, oh, okay. Because otherwise I think they start assuming like, wait, you guys are being tough all the time, so we're probably supposed to be tough all the time. It's like...
And I don't want them to be, because they don't see us when we're able to communicate with just each other and be a little more vulnerable. We try to be strong for them, but it's okay for them to see us also nervous.
Yeah, and there's that balance, of like being able to express your feelings and let be honest that, you got some fear. At the same time, also not getting trapped in that. And realizing we're going though. So let's make the best of it. So there's like that, there's both sides of it,
Yeah, and we had convinced ourselves that like no matter what, we could figure this out. But man, when we went out there to Boise the first time in the middle of winter to look around with our 6 kids for 3 days.
That was terrifying.
Yeah, we were pretty convinced we were going until our first 2 visits there. And then Greg was borderline taking the sign down at our lake home.
That's true.
We actually already had a buyer, and he was about to call and be like, just kidding, I need my house back. And we'll get into that next time. Let's do that the next time because we'll go down that path.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. And we have great news. You get more of us. You can expect new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. So be sure to consistently tune in with us and enjoy our show. See you next time.